Love X Revenge. Welcome to Love X Revenge, where love is tested, betrayal is exposed, and justice always finds its way. They said money could buy anything, but the night Elena learned that wealth could also hide monsters, her world shattered beyond repair. She married Victor Hale believing the stories printed in glossy magazines. Self-made millionaire, charming philanthropist, a man who donated to hospitals and posed with smiling children. What the cameras never captured was the man who closed the doors of his penthouse and let his rage breathe. Elena was 7 months pregnant when the truth became impossible to hide. Bruises bloomed beneath silk dresses, carefully chosen to conceal pain. She counted the incidents not because she wanted to, but because numbers helped her survive. 300 times. 300 moments when love was replaced by fear, when apologies came wrapped in diamonds, when silence felt safer than screaming. Victor never hit her in public. He was meticulous, calculating, always reminding her that no one would believe her over him. Who would they trust? He'd say softly, adjusting his cufflinks. A billionaire, or a hysterical pregnant woman? Elena believed him. Until one evening when the pain became too much and fear for her unborn child outweighed fear of her husband. She packed a small bag, hands shaking, and slipped out while Victor was hosting a fundraiser downstairs. No alarms, no goodbye, just survival. There was only one place left to go. Her father. Alexander Volkov was not a man the world underestimated. Old money, older connections, and a reputation for quiet power. He rarely appeared in the media, preferring boardrooms to spotlights. Years earlier, he had warned Elena about Victor, but love had made her deaf. When Elena arrived at her childhood home, pale and trembling, Alexander knew something was wrong before she spoke. When she lifted her sleeve and revealed the truth, the room went silent. He did not shout. He did not curse. He simply closed the door. For the first time in decades, Alexander Volkov allowed himself to feel rage without restraint. Not the loud, reckless kind, but the cold, methodical fury that dismantled empires. "You and the baby will be safe," he said, placing a hand over Elena's. "I promise." Victor noticed Elena's absence the next morning and smiled. He assumed she would return, as she always did. When she didn't, irritation replaced confidence. Calls went unanswered, messages unread. Then the first call came. His bank informed him of a temporary freeze due to routine investigations. His lawyer canceled lunch. A business partner postponed a deal without explanation. By evening, Victor felt something unfamiliar tightening around him. Fear. Alexander never confronted Victor directly. That would have been too simple. Instead, he let the truth surface where Victor least expected it. Anonymous reports reached financial regulators. Past deals were re-examined. Charitable foundations were audited. Former employees, suddenly protected and confident, began speaking. A journalist received a folder containing hospital records, photographs, and a timeline that told a story Victor could no longer control. The headline broke at dawn. Billionaire philanthropist under investigation for financial crimes and domestic abuse allegations. Victor watched the news in disbelief as anchors spoke his name with a tone he had never heard before. His phone exploded with calls, not of support, but of distance. People didn't want to be associated with him anymore. Still, he believed he could escape it. Money had always saved him. He was wrong. Behind closed doors, Alexander moved pieces like a grandmaster. Judges who owed favors. Investors who trusted his word. Politicians who remembered old alliances. Nothing illegal, just influence applied with precision. Victor was summoned to court. Elena testified from behind a screen, her voice steady for the first time in years. Medical records spoke louder than words. Witnesses confirmed what had long been hidden. Victor tried to laugh it off. Tried to charm the room. But charm collapses when faced with truth. The verdict stripped him of everything that made him powerful. His assets seized. His reputation destroyed. Prison doors closed behind him with a sound that echoed justice. Elena gave birth to a healthy daughter weeks later. She named her Sophia, meaning wisdom. Holding her child, Elena felt something she hadn't felt in years. Peace. Alexander stood by the window of the hospital room, watching the sunrise. He didn't celebrate. He didn't smile. For him, this wasn't revenge. It was responsibility. Victor would spend years behind bars, not because Alexander demanded it, but because the truth finally stood unprotected. And the world saw him not as a millionaire, but as what he truly was. A man who believed power made him untouchable. Elena would spend her life proving him wrong. Love x revenge. Because sometimes love survives, and revenge is simply justice waiting for the right moment.